What's going on, you guys? Lit Man Tuck coming back at you with a book review. And on this one, I want to talk about one of my favorite podcasts, How to Take Over the World. So every episode on that podcast is amazing. So just a reminder, it talks about historical figures who took over the world or kind of went kind of fast, taking over a big piece of land. So it talks about Alexander the Great. It talks about Constantine. It talks about even Steve Jobs, Vladimir Putin, and things of that nature. But this episode was a Halloween episode, and he talked about Dracula. And so when I looked at it, I thought he was capping. I was like, Dracula, isn't that like a fantasy figure? But Dracula was actually a real person. Picked up some interesting things about it. I'm not going to spoil all of it. But one thing that I found interesting is that Dracula's dad name was Dracul means dragon. And if you put an A at the end of the name, Dracula means son of the dragon. And so I was like, oh, wow. And the way that he got his name is that he was very bloodthirsty, so much so that people would spread rumors that he would dip bread in blood and eat the blood of babies and things of that nature. So I'm like, okay, so now I can see how Dracula got the name and how now he's a vampiric figure in many books, many movies, many stories. And they called him Dracula the Impaler. I'm not even going to talk about all that. I'm not going to talk about that on this. You need to just go ahead and listen to the podcast. It's called How to Take Over the World, and go to the Dracula episode if you're interested in that type of stuff. He was in Transylvania, which is currently Romania. And I'm telling you, this podcast, it's a podcast, but I do it on my book reviews because it is a bunch of books packed into a podcast, very content rich. So that's all I got for this one, man. I'll see you on the next one.